You can put this in a gun and shoot it. I've not tried that yet. You can use rust bullet as primer. Believe it or not, primer. It's pretty thick, so you'll have to look at the instructions if you purchase it. When you're using... Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you for being part of it. I really appreciate it. If you get a chance, check out the website. There's stickers, there's t-shirts available to help support the channel, and if possible, to make a donation down in the description below. Okay, today what we're going to do is the underneath of the floor pans. So it's going to be a little bit of a tricky angle, which is fine, we can handle it. And I'm going to wire wheel, clean them off really nice, and we're going to hit it with rust bullet. I love that stuff. I've used it before even being on YouTube. I used it on the frame head in the front, which you'd seen in a previous video, and now I'm going to use it the underneath of the floor pan. So I promise to keep everybody along with the journey. I'm going to speed certain parts of the film up so you don't get bored sitting there watching me wire wheel. So sometimes I'll pause, point some things out if need be, and then when we're putting the rust bullet on, I'll talk a little bit while I'm putting it on. It goes on really nice and thick. So today I have the dirtiest clothes on possible. Make sure you wear a respirator, some type of protection for your lungs. Wear glasses for when you're wire wheeling also. And wear gloves and a long sleeve shirt when it comes time to use the rust bullet, because this stuff sticks really well. So let's go ahead and get on it. Okay, so I just put my shirt on because I said use long sleeves, you know, when you get under the car. Before I start, my phone just rang. And I just got the nicest phone call. Dino, my buddy, called me. He's at Dubs and Dogs in Charleston, West Virginia at a meet. And he gave me a call and said hello. And I hear a bunch of yelling in the background, which I can't quit smiling. I don't think people realize how it makes your day, and got me motivated today. Frank and Ronnie. Ronnie's actually from Maryland. Brittany, Dino, they all called to say hi to me. Dino had a t-shirt on, and I guess a couple guys recognized the shirt and said, oh, hell, what's up? And Dino said, he's my friend. I go to his house. I know him. And Dino lives actually out of state. So thanks, everyone. You guys got me motivated today. I was actually a little tired, but now I feel like working. So to Brittany, Dino, and Frank, and Ronnie, and Brittany, and there were so many names, thank you so much. I needed that today. Thanks for being part of the community. I can't quit smiling. Let's get on it. This is going to be one of these awkward videos, but it's okay. Once I get the camera on the tripod under here, you'll see better, but that's not a hole. It's flaky stuff. You can see how nice the bottom of the frame head is. Now, you have seen me do the top of it. Still got to do the firewall. That's up to you guys if you want to watch. And ladies, we're going to go ahead today, and wire wheel all of it. Oh, I don't feel like it. I wish somebody else was here to do this while I watched. But we're going to go ahead and get all this loose stuff off of here, clean it up, and we're going to rust bullet it together because it needs done, and it's part of the process. So let's go ahead and get started on it. So make sure you have on safety glasses, which I do have on, and your dust mask protection. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. You're not going to hear me, obviously, if I talk right now. So I'm going to speed the film up. GoPro, stop recording. Alright, so I had to take my wireless mic off momentarily so I don't break it. So it don't matter. I'm going to put some music to this, and I'm going to go ahead and start wire wheeling everything down. I'll speed the film up pretty quick so you don't get bored. When I do put the rust bullet on, I'm probably not going to speed some of it up because I want to explain a few things while I'm using it. I love that rust bullet, but we'll go over that in a minute. Remember, wear a dust mask and safety glasses. Wear a good dust mask. Don't buy them from the dollar store. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I'm going to pause the film. I was showing you just what I'm doing. That's why I said some of these films I do might be a little boring. I don't know. I'm going to pause the film and come back as soon as I'm done doing this, which will only take a second for your view. And we'll go ahead and put the rust bullet on. There's a heavy coating on here from the factory that's been on there for probably 50 years, I guess. I don't know, or if somebody put it on. You don't have to go to bare metal. And I'm not going to because I don't need to. But a lot of these spots you want to clean up really nice. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead, pause the film. When I come back, we'll be putting the rust bullet on, and you'll get to see the finish with it. And I'll show you the frame head once more up close that has dried forever, but how nice it looks. So give me a second. I'll be right back. Going to be a little shaky. I'm underneath the car. However, you can see I wire wheeled and cleaned everything up. Now, I didn't go down to the bare metal on this one because I didn't have to. So as you can see, it's ready for the rust bullet to be put on. Let me go further under. I'm sorry, this is really a very hard camera angle. I'm sure you can understand, but I cleaned that valley up real good in here. And I got a lot of the loose stuff all off. You don't have to remove everything. Some people like to go clear down to bare metal. If I had the space in this garage, then I would probably get it up way higher and just grind all day till I hit bare metal, but I don't feel the need to. I have to do the underneath of the heater channel separate, because see that? There's a hole there and the rest. But I'm just gonna do from the bolt tracking over. So I know, I'm sorry, I'm sure that some of you, please understand, this is very hard to film underneath the car. This will probably be the worst film I'll do, if that makes any sense. But, okay, I'm going to prep the rust bullet, and you can watch me put it on and how thick it is and how nice it is to use. Okay, you have to excuse the mess. I got a lot going on. A friend of mine asked me to come clean out her dad's basement, her mom and dad, and check out all the cool stuff I found. Old tachometer. Is that not cool or what? A lot of old CB radios that actually work. FM converters. 8-track player. I hooked it up. It does light up. Lots of old cool stuff. Sorry, got sidetracked. Okay, here's your rust bullet. I love this stuff. Metal Blast. This comes with the kit, and if you have bare metal, you spray this, wipe the bare metal. I guess it cleans and conditions it or whatever. I'm not a chemist. I just do what they say. This is solvent to remove it off of stuff, or thin it in a gun, I believe. One thing you need to know about rust bullet, I trust in this because I know people that have been using it for over 10 years. So rust bullet really works. That's why I'm putting it underneath here. Yes, there is a coating. I didn't go down to bare metal, but I cleaned all the loose stuff off, made it nice and neat. I'm going to paint the floor pan so far back, okay? I'm not going up to where the cradle is that holds the engine yet, but I at least want to get the floor pans out of the way, and I'll talk about that when I'm done. I know. You can put this in a gun and shoot it. I've not tried that yet. You can use rust bullet as primer. Believe it or not, primer. It's pretty thick, so you'll have to look at the instructions if you purchase it. When you're using rust bullet as a primer, you just have to remember to wet sand it just like a primer before you put paint on over top of it. But this stuff really grabs onto the metal. So you might want to look into this. Here, I'll bring it up closer. And it does come in different colors. So I just got the black because that's what I'm doing under the car, the inner wells and everything. So, but when I do the inner wells with this, when I'm done, I'm probably going to wet sand it with, I think 1200 paper, and then I'll go over it with factory color paint. So this stuff is nice because it seals and protects. And I'm not trying to sound like an infomercial. I just know the stuff works. So let me go ahead and mix it up, and we'll get underneath, and I'll talk a little bit while we're painting it and getting it on there about what's upcoming in that, and I'll speed the film up when necessary, and I'll show you what got done on that inner well. Okay, let's get on it. Let's get her opened up. I've already wiped off underneath what I needed to. I have 2 quarts of this, so I'm probably, let me see what I got left. I only did the frame head. Here, I'll bring you up close a second. Hang in there. Okay, as you can see on the frame head, I only used, that much. We're gonna stir it up, see how thick this is. It may not look it on film, but it's very, very thick. So you want to stir it up really good. Yeah, after I started reading up on this stuff, I really had no idea it could be used as a primer. That would be interesting because it's so thick, it probably fills in a lot of bad stuff. It's thicker than it looks. And then of course sand and, paint. I may do that. I'll look into it. I'm going to call the rep that I dealt with and talk about that with her. So I may use it as a primer under the Rust-Oleum. So, okay. Now one thing I do highly advise, have a rag ready just in case something stupid happens. Buy cheap paintbrushes when you're doing this stuff. Now not, watch the little hairs don't come, the bristles, I'm sorry, come off and go into the paint. Just pick it off. Don't go spending 15 bucks for a paintbrush because you're going to throw these out. So that's what I do. Do what you want. That's just my recommendation. I got some laying in the can down in the lip. But let's get underneath and go ahead and paint this. And I'll talk while I'm doing it. I want to go over a few things. So I'll do it while I'm painting. You can watch some of this. So let me get the camera set up underneath. Okay, I'm coming. Like I said, filming while laying underneath is not fun, so I'm doing the best I can. Bear with me. We're going to go ahead and brush this on. I just really like Rust Bullet, and I'm sure if some of you like Pour 15 or whatever it's called, then go ahead and use it. It's fine. If you wonder why some of the videos are odd like this, I've asked in many videos, what do you want to see? And of course, a lot of it is based on DIY. So that's where I try to keep it. But a lot of people like watching what I'm doing along the way, if that makes any sense. So I'm trying to keep you in the loop on the whole process. I cannot really call this a full restoration project because if that was so, then of course, I would be pulling the body off of the pan. And there was really no need to on this one. Now if you watch, I'm avoiding hitting here because I got to take the beam off and do the front of the frame head. Because what I'm going to do soon, and like I said, I'm talking during some of this, is I'm going to be putting on the new beam and the front suspension and getting that out of the way. And I'm going to do a step-by-step process on that. So that should get interesting because I like to do probably some things that most people don't do or maybe isn't necessary. But before I mount the front beam, I'm going to go ahead. I bought a cheap set of tap and die set from Harbor Freight, and I'm going to go ahead and rechase the threads of the 4 large bolts that hold the beam to the frame head. So there's a lot of things I do that I'm cleaning parts constantly, and there's nothing wrong with chasing some threads to make sure they're nice and clean so nothing stupid happens like cross-threading or hard to get the bolts in and out, So I hope that made sense. I'll be speeding this up in a few minutes. I'm just doing a little bit of talking instead of talking and staring at the camera. This stuff will last a long time on here. How many coats should you do of Rust Bullet? You should do 2 coats. So that's what I'll end up doing. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do 2 coats, though. I won't do that. But at least we'll do a coat together and you'll see what it looks like when it's done. And for all of you that say, you should have sandblasted or you should have grinded it all off, well then you can do that to yours. That's fine. I didn't feel the need to. And yes, I did get all the loose stuff off like you're supposed to. because with Rust Bullet, you can actually put it right over a rusty frame, literally. I got this all over the handle because I'm messy when I paint. You can actually put this on a rusty frame. And what I mean by that is, say you have an old Ford truck with the big fat frames, which I prefer. You can just take a wire brush, knock all the loose stuff off, which I prefer all the time, a wire wheel, and, you know, get the loose stuff off, and then you can put this, after you clean it with the metal prep, right over top of it. So that's what you can do with this stuff. It's pretty brutal. This stuff sticks to pretty much anything, but I am interested. I am going to call my rep. I'm pretty interested in using this maybe as a primer. I'm not sure yet. Epoxy primer is very expensive. That's what I used on the last one, and it's not cheap, you know. So am I doing the Rust-Oleum paint job again? Of course. Because I try to save money where I can. Your paint work is all in your prep, is what it is. Now I see Gracie, I haven't seen her in person yet, but a photo, it looks like below the gas lid there's some paint missing there. And I did tell the guy, because he wanted the car quickly, not the guy who owns it now, this is a guy before, don't spill no gas or nothing on it yet, because that is still curing. But he didn't listen, so it doesn't matter. But point being, I want to find out about using this as primer, because I did read it online and I didn't know you could do that. So we're going to find out about that and go from there. Not that any of you may ever even do that, but it says that you can. So I'm kind of interested in that. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the film, and I'll show you that inner well that got welded. That one inner well's done. I didn't sit and film all that crap. Okay, let me get some paint done, and then I'll speed up the film here, and then you'll hear my mouth when I'm done. Okay, so we got one side done. I'm going to go ahead and do this side here, and then I'll go ahead and come back and I'll show you exactly what it looks like up close, because there's no point in watching me brush both sides. Give me a second, I'll be right back. So I got to open my garage door back up. It started pouring down rain, but there's what it looks like with the first coat. Okay, I'm not going to bore you and go on and on, so I'll just show you around it real quick. It actually come out very nice. I'm on the ground, so, you know, I apologize, folks. I honestly do the best I can with these videos. Once in a while, you're going to have a video like this, and there's not much I can do about that. Make sure you always coat very well, okay? And I like to make sure I get it up in that crevice where the pan meets the tunnel, okay? And there should be seam sealer in there anyhow, but, you know, a little bit extra never hurts. But I think it come out nice. That's the look you want and the protection that you need, okay? I am going to put a second coat on, but it's just still going to look the same, and there's no point in you watching me do another coat of Rust Bullet, you know. Let me get up a second and I'll show you something. Okay, I was laying on the floor. Here's, I got all kind of parts everywhere. Whoa, that was loud, huh? Okay, as you could see, I have that hole right there to still do. This side's done. That's all welded up. This here, I didn't buy a factory patch because nobody sees that, but my buddy threw some welds around that. I got to grind this all up, touch some weld spots up, grind it nice and smooth, and it'll be pretty. Still got to do the back pieces. That's what actually fell in the car. I already bought them. And if you've been following, there's the rust bullet. Now it's all dusty because of the garage, but that's the rust bullet I put on the frame head a couple of months ago. I'm going to do the firewall in about a week. I'll film it because I'm going to clean all that up and do it also. And what we are going to do, I'll explain. Give me a second. I'm all over the place today. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to, on my next video, or the one after, we'll see which one. I don't know the order it'll come up in. I'm going to wire wheel this really nice, this firewall. I'm going to hit it with the rust bullet. I'm going to let it dry overnight. And then I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum, like you see here, because that's going to be the color of the car. And we're going to go ahead, I want to try this. I'm going to wet sand the frame head down. This is while nothing's in the way. The gas tank, the front beam, because I'll have the front beam off by the time you tune in next week. I'm going to wet sand the frame head down. We're going to go ahead, we're going to rust bullet this, clean it up, let it dry, lightly sand it, okay? And we're going to spray this. Since I mouthed off and said you can use it as a primer also, I got to put my money where my mouth is and see how it comes out. Now, it's not going to look like artwork, you know, because this is underneath the car. But we're going to go ahead and spray all that area and paint it, and that way it's done. I'll probably use 2K clear over it after that, but you probably ain't going to get to see that the way I'm doing these films. So let me go over a couple things real quick. I know, just be patient with me. Okay, so anyhow, when you're doing the rust bullet, here's something very important. If you want to put your second coat on, which I advise you do it within 2 hours. If it's over 2 hours, from what I understand, and you can go to their website if you need to, I believe if it's after 2 hours, wait like a day and then sand it lightly, and then you can put your second coat on. But in all sincerity, just put the second coat on. Don't try to be a hero to prove a point and wait and sand it to put a second coat. Within 2 hours, do it. How long does it take rust bullet to dry? I believe between 2 and 6 hours. That depends on your temperature and your humidity, is what it depends on dry time. Me, I don't go by a lot of manufacturer stuff because it's kind of an outline, because sometimes they feel like they're dealing with, yeah. So honestly, let it dry a good 24 to 48 hours. That's my call. I'm just telling you what I think. But if you're going to hit your second coat on, which I highly advise you do it before 2 hours clicks on the clock. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to the next film. I'm going to pop the frame. I'm going to take the front beam off. We're going to go ahead and do the firewall real nice, though. I want it to look good. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the rust bullet as a primer there, and we're going to spray that whole area while I have a gas tank and beam out of the way. And we're going to see what it looks like. I think it's going to look nice, but it's not going to be perfection because I'm doing the firewall. If I was doing the roof of the car, that would be one thing. So thank you all for being here. I'm sorry I went on and on. This was probably one of the boring videos. I'm just taking you all along for the ride. And we'll go ahead and we'll keep hammering away on the body work. Like I said, I did take photos of doing the inner wells and stuff, but it's pointless to show you me sitting there cutting a piece of metal. My buddy's tack welding it. It's worth you just seeing what it looks like and then what it looks like when it's done when it comes to those things. Okay, I hope everybody has a great day and a nice weekend, and I'll see you soon.